If I can get Mr. Graylin Mitchell to lead us in a word of prayer.
One has lost a loved one this week. Pray God to strengthen them.
Remain standing if Mr. Jody Bulley would do the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Bobby Manuel, the preamble. May be seated. Roll call, Miss Nancy.
Here. 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 Here.
Here.
Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
I'm going to read the ethics statement now. In accordance with the Ethics and Conflict of Interest Ordinance 2010-0312-01, amended March 12, 2010, is the duty of every council member to avoid both apparent and perceived conflicts of interest with regard to any matters before council in this business meeting. If so, please refrain from participation in those deliberations. All documents that require council attention are considered confidential and shall not be disseminated until after a vote by the full council. Before we get started, tonight, when you get ready to speak the vote, just make sure you press the button on the mics. I'd like to welcome everyone out tonight to the business meeting. I want to recognize Tribal Administrator Mr. Ricky Harris, Ms. Sharon Bell, and former council member Ms. Anita Blanks, and the audience. Right. If I can get a review and approval of the agenda.
Mr. Speaker, I have an addition I'd like you to consider tonight. I'd like to add the Tribal Administrator, Mr. Ricky Harris, in Section 9, underneath Council Minutes and Actions before presentation by Mr. Corbin Eddings.
I don't have a problem. Is that all in favor?
Aye.
We'll get a approval of the agenda with the addition.
Second. Aye. Motion to approve. Second.
Here I speak.
Aye.
Yes, Mr. Bullard.
Some mayors voted there up under election of Osprey committee chairs. Bobby McNeil. Bobby McNeil.
So we'll make those changes. Is there any more?
And I have stepped down as chair of the health committee, and Jody Bullard is now chair, and I'm vice chair.
Noted. Any more changes? All right, can I get approval?
Motion to accept the amended changes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have Mr. Ricky Harris, the tribal administrator.
Thank you, fellas, for giving me a moment. Just a couple items that I wanted to bring to your attention. The powwow committee has decided on the date for the fall powwow, which will be September the 27th, 28th, and 29th. Also, we have presented the first tribal council in a photo, and we'll send it around or take it around, let you see it. We'll try to hang it up somewhere very prominent here in the council. Gift that's been given us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Next on the agenda is Mr. Corbin Edens with the United Tribes. I'm sorry I didn't recognize, I didn't see you sitting over there. Corbin used to be a prior council member as well.
Things have changed. So I need to keep my finger here throughout. Okay, I can do that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Tribal Council, for having me tonight. Tribal Administrator, Mr. Harris, told me he was going to take 30 minutes, so I was over there getting my thoughts together. I did not realize I was going to be up here this quick. But anyway, I realized I was here before you in December, and I won't be before you long. I had planned to do this quarterly, but I just felt like I needed to come prior to the North Carolina Indian Unity Conference, which is next month, to give you an update from United Tribes. I do see one new face here this evening since last time I was here, Mr. Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell, good to have you, sir. I currently serve as a tribes representative on the United Tribes of North Carolina. That is the 8 recognized tribes as well as the 4 urban Indian centers that make up that United Tribes board. We do a number of different things on that board, one of which is we conduct the Miss Indian North Carolina pageant, which was this past week. I think I saw a couple of faces at the pageant. Thank you guys for being there. Thank you for your attendance. I'm not sure if you are aware, but Miss Zion Richardson of the Halawasa Pony is our new Miss Indian North Carolina. We did have a representative in that pageant from the Lumbee tribe, Miss Paige Freeman. Miss Paige did an outstanding job. If you get a chance, you can go back and watch that on Facebook Live. She had a good number of folks from Mr. Jimmy Goins and Miss Diane Goins, his family there. I know that's the family that she comes from. Her parents are Freemans. But anyway, she did great. She came in first runner-up. Did an excellent job representing her family and representing the Lumbee tribe. On to the Unity Conference. Just as a reminder, that conference does take place March 7th through the 9th in Charlotte. Our children, our legacy is the slogan for this year. We hope that you'll all be able to attend. That is at the Hilton Charlotte University Place, I believe is the name of that hotel. We have a number of great speakers that'll be there. Give me just one second. Our mistress of ceremonies for the banquet is Miss Pamela Caswell, Secretary of Department of Administration. We've got folks from the Secretary of Health and Human Services, special agents with the FBI, a number of different folks with NCAI that'll be there. Our very own Miss Sheila Godwin will be there singing the national anthem at one of our general assemblies. We have some great workshops. The SACE report will be discussed. We have a historical clothing, which is a regalia discussion that'll be taking place, discussion on cancer health, children's welfare, a number of different things from the Commission of Indian Affairs. NGNAO will have a booth there as well. Can't thank you guys enough for your sponsorship. Be sure to take a look at the program booklet. You'll see some nice full-page ads from the Lumbee tribe. We did bring the dance back from years past. Those who used to go back in the 80s and 90s may remember that. That'll be happening on Friday night. Again, that is alcohol and tobacco free, as is the whole conference. And the powwow will be taking place that Saturday. We'll be giving out 24 scholarships this year. A number of those are Lumbee students, so their families will be there. And of course, that is complimentary for them to be there for the breakfast and things of that nature. We'll be giving out a Veterans Award. I can't say the name at this point for a very deserving Lumbee veteran. And his was complimentary as well. And we also have 6 community service awards, and I'm confident a number of those will be Lumbee tribal members as well. So I'd ask that if you hadn't made plans to attend, please do, so that you can show support to all of these tribal members. I just think that you'll have a great time, a great fellowship, and some great workshops as well. Did anyone have any questions for me at this time?
Yeah, just go along with that. The Commission of Indian Affairs meeting will be the 7th that morning, early that morning, if anybody wants to attend.
Yes, sir, that Thursday morning, first thing, 9 a.m., I believe. Yes, sir.
Mr. Rudy?
Thank you, Mr. Eddings. Thank you for your work on the Unity Conference. I know last year the Lumbee tribe hosted the hospitality room. Are we doing that this year, or is that someone else?
No, sir. Normally that rotates each year. This year, I believe the Metrolina will be taking that. I don't know if they can compete with collard wraps, and yeah, that one will go down in history, I believe, but we shall see. I think they may call on us fairly soon.
Okay. Thank you. I was just making sure Mr. Bobby was prepared.
All right.
Any other questions for Mr. Eddings? Right, we appreciate your
Thank you
time,
folks
Mr.
so
Eddings,
much.
for the report. Next, we will move to community comments. Just a reminder to the members that community comments are limited to 3 minutes. And when you come to the podium, please state your name and the district that you live in. And also remember to press the button down so the mic will be turned on. First, we have UNCP Tyler and Asa.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Asa Locklear. I'm a student at UNCP with a major in mass communication with a focus in the broadcasting track, and currently resident also at the town of Pembroke, and graduation year is class of 2026.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tyler Howard. I'm a music BA student. I reside off campus, and I will hopefully graduate in 2025. I would like to thank you guys for allowing us to come before you tonight on behalf of the Kurt and Catherine Locklear American Indian Heritage Center and the University of North Carolina at Pembroke. The Brave Nation Powwow is scheduled for Saturday, March 23rd, 2024, from 10 in the morning to 6 p.m. in the UNCP Jones Center. As of 2023, the Brave Nation Powwow has become the largest collegiate powwow in the state of North Carolina. It features tribes from all across the United States with over 125 dancers, 6 different drum groups, and 2,200 plus attendees. Our goal is to provide an opportunity to gather on UNCP's illustrious and historical campus in order to interact with one another and showcase the rich history and culture of Native America. We also hope to engage with and educate both Native and non-Native attendees on Native American heritage and powwow etiquette. Of course, the Brave Nation Powwow would not be a success without the generosity of departments, organizations, businesses, and individuals such as yourselves. Sponsorships contribute to prize monies for drum and dance competitions, meal tickets, support services, marketing, sound systems, head staff, and etc. In addition, with benefactions from donors like you, 2 UNCP students, much like ourselves, will receive 2 $500 scholarships for the fall of 2024. Brave Nation Powwow, like many others, helps preserve cultural existence and identity. We hope that you will help us ensure its successfulness. Thank you for your consideration and time.
All right, we appreciate it. And the letters that they passed around has the contact information if you would like to give or sponsor anything for the powwow. Thank you. So we have Miss Josie McLean.
Good evening. My name is Jason McLean. I am from District 2. My parents are Robert McLean and Bobby Joe Sampson McLean. My grandparents are Bobby Sampson and Andela Brooke Sampson from the Deep Branch community. And my other grandparents are Danny McLean and Paula Hunt McLean from the Roland area. I'm a member of Tabernacle Baptist Church. I'm a junior at Pearl Sweat High School. I play striker for varsity girls soccer team, and I'm also a captain. I have been named Player of the Year for the last 2 years for Public Schools of Robinson County. I play club soccer at Fayetteville Forest, and I've been playing there for about 2 years. Well, back last fall, 29 players from the club were selected to play in Las Vegas, and about 16 of them were girls. And so we were able to travel to Las Vegas and play with girls from around the country and from Canada as well. Well, of all the girls that went, 18 were selected to play in Spain, and I was one of them. And so, I was selected to be a part of the Villarreal North America select team to play in Spain at the end of March 29th to be exact. I was one of the 18 girls, and I will be able to play with girls from around the country and play against girls like from France and Spain and Portugal. And I'm here to ask for any support that you can give. Any donations will be greatly appreciated, and I'm so excited for this opportunity to be able to represent my Lumbee people in Spain as I play in the Mallorca International Football Club. Thank you, and I will be here if you have any questions.
Before Mr. Jody speaks, Miss Keisha passed out a letter, and it has her Cash App and information on there if y'all guys would like to donate to her for her trip to Spain. Mr. Jody? You got something, Mr. Bullard?
Yes, I was going to see if we can talk to administration about sending something with her to Spain as a recognition.
Yeah. Mr. Ricky Harris to take note of that, giving her a flag. See if we can give her a Lumbee flag to take with her to Spain. So we'll do that. All right.
Let's put some finances behind that flag also.
So if anyone would like to donate, like I said, we got the information on the paper. I know she'll greatly appreciate that. Right, next, we have Miss Anita Blanks.
Good evening, everybody. I'm on the list because I have a question about the redistricting. I attended the Constitution meeting last week in which you all didn't have a quorum, but you received a report about the redistricting, the maps, the whole 9 yards. So my question is, do you have a projected time frame when you will have those maps published, as far as the finished maps that you will be using for voting purposes?
Normally, we don't respond back to community comments, but we will give you an update. The council is in the process now of reviewing the maps, and then we will get them out to the communities.
All right.
Next, we'll move right along to committee reports. We have Finance, Miss Pam Hunt. Mr. Alex will read the report since he conducted the finance meeting that night.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have before us tonight a total of about 7 financial documents to be reviewed. We can do this a couple number of ways. I can go through them individually. We can look at them on consent and make a motion to approve them at once. If there's one that council would like to look at individually, we can pull that one and discuss that one from the main motion to consider them all at once. I'll take whatever the pleasure of council is.
Mr. Speaker, excuse me, Mr. Finance, can we approve the first 4 as a blanket and discuss maybe the last 3 since they have amendments attached to them?
Is that in the form of a motion?
I make a motion that we do a blanket vote for the first 4 and offer a discussion for the last 3.
I second.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
With that, then we'll combine the first 4 under a blanket vote, a roll call vote. Those 4 are CLO 2024-021501. That was the adoption of a Duke Energy Foundation grant budget that had been awarded. Number 2 is CLLO 2024-0215-02. That is also the adoption of a grant, environmental enhancement grant budget. Number 3 is CLL0-0215-03. That is also considering the adoption of the Healthy Native North Carolinians grant budget. And finally, the 4th is CLL0-2024-0215-04. That was also finally a Blue Cross Blue Shield well-being grant adoption of a budget. All those in favor, we'll do a roll call at this time.
Do discussion. Is there any discussion on these 4 grants before we vote? Roll call.
Billy Oxendine, Braylon Mitchell,
Yes.
Joe Gooseby,
Yes.
Earl Smith,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Wendy Moore,
Yes.
Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Larry Chavers,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes, Yvonne Dahl,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Joey McNeil,
Yes.
Bobby Emanuel,
Yes.
Chakawana Oxendine,
Yes.
Josephine Dawes, Larry Souls, Alex Baker,
Yes.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. The 5th budget item for consideration out of committee is CLL 0-2022-1117-04. This is amendment number 1, and this is entitled Native Voices Rising Budget Ordinance. I will start at the 3rd whereas from the bottom. Whereas the Tribal Council has the authority of fiduciary responsibility to ensure compliance with program funding and allocations. Whereas the tribe has been awarded a 2nd year of the Native Voices Rising Grant in the amount of $30,000. And whereas the Lumbee Tribal Budget Native Voices Rising Budget Ordinance will provide staffing needs of the office, the Tribal Enrollment Office. And therefore being enacted, the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the following ordinance shall be entitled Native Voices Rising Budget Ordinance, subject to all inclusions and provisions. With that, we have some additional revenues. The amendment again is $30,000. Expenses will be to supplement some salaries, $19,000 in salaries, 11 to fringe, for a total expense of $30,000 of revenues.
Coming from committee, it doesn't require a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Nancy.
Billy Oxendine, Braylon Mitchell,
Yes.
Joe Gooseby,
Yes.
Harold Smith,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Wendy Moore,
Yes.
Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Larry Chavous.
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Siobhan Daw,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Joy McNeil,
Yes.
Bobby Emanuel,
Yes.
Chakawana Oxendine,
Yes.
Josephine Dawes, Larry Souls, Alex Baker,
Yes.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I will start on the sixth one from the third whereas. This is concerning ordinance CLL 02021-0628-04. This will be the third amendment to the ordinance known as the Indian Housing Block Grant, IHBG, the American Rescue Plan budget. Beginning with the third, whereas the Lumbee Tribe has received a grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to be named IHBG American Rescue Plan budget in the amount of $9,709,589. And whereas the grant will be administered as described in the budget, see attached. And whereas the Lumbee Tribal budget is to be used to address the following changes. Therefore, be it enacted by the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the following ordinance shall be cited as the IHBG American Rescue Plan budget, subject to all inclusions and provisions as stated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Again, the budgeted revenue is $9,709,589. The expenses, the amendment number 3. Salaries to the tune of $73,507. Payroll fringe, $32,489. They are zeroing out the administrative services. They are reducing office or supplies, rather, $53,096. There is a reduction in the equipment and capital outlay of $100,000. There is a reduction in travel and professional development to the tune of $41,700. There is no increase or decrease in contractual services, home replacement, or housing services as this budget if adopted. However, there is a credit to the construction of homes to the tune of $88,750. That concludes my report.
Coming from committee, it does not require a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Nancy.
Billy Oxendine, Braylon Mitchell,
Yes.
Joe Gooseby,
Yes.
Harold Smith,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Wendy Moore,
Yes.
Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Larry Chavous,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Siobhan Daw,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Joy McNeil,
Yes.
Bobby Manuel,
Yes.
Chakawana Oxenine,
Yes.
Josephine Dawes, Larry Souls, Alex Baker,
Yes.
Alma Fields.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. The next budget consideration is CLL 2023-0921-02. This would be amendment number 1 to the fiscal year October 1, 2023 to September 30th, 2024 Lumbee Tribal Budget Ordinance. I will start with the last whereas. The Tribal Council has the authority and fiduciary responsibility to ensure compliance with program funding and allocation. Therefore, being enacted by the Tribal Council of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, the following ordinance cited as fiscal year October 1, 2023 through September 30th, 2024, Lumbee Tribal Budget Ordinance, subject to all inclusions and provisions. This allocates the HOSDA carryover from fiscal year 2022, fiscal year 2023 and 2024. That carryover is budgeted revenue from stock, 37 stock, interest, and program income. That comes to the total of $2,365,785.67 of budgeted revenues. Property insurance allocation of $150,000, contractual services $107,412 to the following: housing stock $77,412, finance $15,000, and construction $15,000. An allocation of $400,000 to modernization of our housing stock, $80,000 for down payment assistance, $334,574.32 for the construction of homes, $461, $104.22 to the construction of maintenance and development, $680,470.44 for construction at Sherrall Acres, $152,224.69 for the construction at Bear Creek. Also in this budget contains budgeted revenue from general fund FY 23-24. This is also carryover in the amount of $652,430. It has been outlaid the following: salaries $21,504, fringe $7,426, services to consumers $114,000, scholarships $75,000, program supplies $8,000, legal $60,000, outreach $50,500, travel and professional development $106,000, contractual services $35,000, powwow $20,000, federal recognition $100,000, economic development $30,000, and a contingency fund of $25,000 for a grand total budget expense of $652,432, creating a balanced budget. Finally, in this ordinance, there is the Blue Cross Blue Shield Peer Support Program. That amendment is $50,000. In that $50,000, there is $5,356 allocated for salaries, $1,000 for fringe, $2,065 for other costs, $5,000 for general supplies, $0 for lease. For travel and professional development, there is $11,579, and for contractual services, there is $25,000 for a total budget expense of $50,000. With that, I yield back.
Coming from committee, it doesn't require a second. Is there any discussion? Mr. Goolsby.
Yeah, just a comment for the record, the carryover funds for economic development will now be $30,000, and it does do away with the small business grants in this carryover.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Billy Oxenine, Rayla Mitchell,
Yes.
Joe Gooseby,
Yes.
Harold Smith,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Wendy Moore,
Abstain.
Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Larry Chavas,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Siobhan Dahl,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Joy McNeil,
Yes.
Bobby Emanuel,
Yes.
Takawana Oxenine,
Yes.
Josephine Dawes, Larry Souls, Alex Baker,
Yes.
Alma Fields.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mr. Alex. Moving right along to Health and Human Services, Mr. Jody Bullard.
This time we look at C LLR 2024-2021501, American Indian Vacation Rehab Program. We will start at the third wares. The Tribal Council Health and Human Services Committee was established to address the needs of Lumbee tribal members and provide recommendations to resolve health and human services issues tribal members, and whereas the Lumbee Tribe Vocational Rehabilitation Program Director Celeste Hunt is requesting the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina to submit funding for a fourth grant cycle. Therefore, it be resolved the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina does hereby agree to submit funding for the American Indian Rehabilitation Program, hereby also agreed to be the recipient of the American Indian Rehabilitation Grant Program if awarded.
Coming from committee, it doesn't require a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call. Hold on, Mr. Gerald's got a question. Mr. Bullard.
As this might be a little more relevant, but some of these services also be going toward the opioid community outreach. I had spoken to you guys about in the Health and Human Services meetings, but we'll have more discussion on that in the next meeting in March.
Rudy.
So just, not to nitpick anything, but is it necessary to include Celeste Hunt's name in there? And couldn't it just say the Lumbee Tribe Vocational Rehabilitation Program is requesting the Lumbee Tribe to submit funding for a fourth grant cycle? I mean, why did we put her name in there? Because I don't like naming people and stuff like that. Can we amend that? Is that okay?
We can amend that.
Right. Mr. Gerald and Mr. Alex.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say nothing, but it's asking for the Lumbee Tribe to submit funding for a fourth cycle. This would be nice to have the number of what they're asking for the funding to be submitted. I mean, $1,000, $500, $100,000. So I think it should be in this paperwork how much they're asking for.
Ms. Tam, is there clarification on that?
The last whereas, it says the Lumbee Tribe Vocational Rehabilitation Program with his change is requesting the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina to submit funding for a fourth grant program. So what kind of funding are we asking to submit? $100, $1 million, 100,000?
She is actually in the process of putting her application together, and she is increasing the amount over the past. She's averaged somewhere around 550,000 per year, over, and then times 5. So she's asking for that amount to be more like $1 million per year over a 5-year period. So I don't think she was ready to. She didn't want to lock in an amount and then turn that in. To the funding source. She just needed a letter of support.
Yeah, follow up, hold on just a second. So should it not say submit for funding, not submit funding?
Yes, that's
this
fine.
This is saying we're going to give money to the program.
Yes,
It should be
she's
submit
requesting.
for funding so we can receive money.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving along right to Mr. Alex Baker.
And I think that goes to the heart of my question is, I apologize, I'm not on this committee, but was a budget reviewed and was a dollar amount given when you considered this resolution would be my question. Because I think, that's going back to Mr. Gerald's, that's what we're here for. To submit funding, how much, and what does that look like for what services before we authorize administration to be the recipient of said funding and we don't know what that is and what that budget outlay looks like.
Ms. Siobhan, do you have something?
From what I remember, when Ms. Celeste was making her presentation, she was presented as a grant. As a grant for funding? As Ms.
Yeah, she's writing the Department of Education to refund her vocational rehab program for 5 years. Yes, that's what it is.
All right, we got Miss Pam.
Ms. Tammy, is this time sensitive?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Jody, then Mr. Gerald.
I was just going to piggyback on what Ms. Yvonne had said. It was a grant. You're asking for a grant, and I don't think she has a definite dollar amount, because it could change from the 500 or even more.
Mr. Gooseby.
I think just a simple rewording, because it's not going to cost us anything. We're asking for money. Just a simple rewording of that last whereas, adding what Mr. Rudy said, and then authorize me to submit for funding, not to submit funding. Submit funding means we paying them. Submit for funding means we're asking for funding. So I just think we need to put that forward there and do Mr. Rudy's modification on for and then go forward with it. And I'll make that in form of a motion.
Second.
Or substitute motion, every how it goes from committee.
Made a motion. It was seconded by Mr. Baker. All in favor?
Aye.
Ms. Siobhan.
I'm just really concerned about that we might need to also place the word grant within this wording. And as Ms. Wendy just said, refund, not necessarily for.
So now we're going to vote. What are you asking? So what, I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm saying there was a motion and a second, and you actually did vote a yes. So that motion is actually approved. It just didn't ask for the nay, so we'd have to redo another motion if we have to change it anymore.
I was just voting on that amendment, and then I was coming back to do the full vote. with that? So we're going to vote on the new amendment with the changes made in the prior motion. Okay. Roll call, Ms. Nancy.
Elias Nine, Graylin Mitchell,
Yes, with the changes.
Gerald
Yes, with the changes.
Harold Smith,
Yes.
Pam Hunt.
Yes.
That's all you have to say. Jody Bullard,
Yes.
Wendy Moore,
Yes.
Carrington Locklear,
Yes.
Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Larry Chavers,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Yvonne Dahl,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Dewey McNeil,
Yes.
Bobby Emanuel,
Yes.
Chakawana Oxenine,
Yes.
Josephine Dawes, Larry Souls, Alex Baker,
Yes.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
All right, moving along to the next report will be education, Ms. Chakawan Oxendine.
Yes, Mr. Dewey, I would like to thank Miss Yvonne, and Mr. Alex Baker, and everyone else on their help with this. We're looking at CLLR 2024-0215-02 titled Lumbee Holiday. I'm going to start at the 8th whereas. Whereas the tribe voted by referendum on February 2nd, 1952, with 2,169 votes for the adoption of the traditional ancestral name of the river, Lumbee, as the official name of the people of the Darkwater, and whereas the Lumbee tribe worked diligently to create and establish self-determination, renewed identity, traditions, and culture for effective and profound social, physical, emotional, economical, intellectual, and spiritual well-being to create a well-balanced life for all Lumbee, and whereas the Lumbee possesses a strong connection to the river, Mother Earth, and the Creator, and whereas the first Native American college in the United States was established in 1887 through Lumbee leadership, now known as the University of North Carolina at Pembroke, and whereas the Lumbee participate and engage in Lumbee Homecoming as a celebratory event to demonstrate their family connections, pride, identity, tradition, and culture through parades, powwows, and booths displaying Native American jewelry, pottery, clothing, and other items to promote their Indian heritage, and whereas Henry Berry Lowry, Lumbee legendary hero, along with others, waged war for 10 years between 1864 and 1874 against injustices and corruption committed against their family members and other Lumbee by the Confederacy and local militia in Robeson County, and whereas January 13, 1958, the Lumbees united together with furious determination and great intensity and forced and removed the Ku Klux Klan from their nightly meeting at Hayes Pond in Maxton, North Carolina, whose purpose was to intimidate and attempt to bring fear to the Lumbee people. And whereas, with great pride, the Lumbee demonstrate careers and leadership as doctors, lawyers, teachers, nurses, police, ministers, executives, principals, engineers, social workers, doctors, directors, superintendents, politicians, military leaders, managers, CEOs, and other essential leadership, and therefore be it resolved, the Lumbee Tribal Council hereby adopts February 2nd as a tribal holiday to celebrate the vibrant, rich, and ancestral name Lumbee, given to the Darkwater that hid our people and later to us as a tribe by our ancestors, and it continues to connect us to each other and our tribal homeland.
Coming from committee, it doesn't require a second. Any discussion? Mr. Alex Baker.
Kudos to the committee. I don't know about anybody else's, but on my copy, there is a section stricken in red and struck through. I do hope before this, if voted on tonight and passed, that before this hangs on the wall, that that sentence is actually removed and not left stricken in the document.
It's noted. We'll make those
Yeah,
changes.
it was put there because it's what you guys asked in the committee meeting to be struck through. So I just wanted for the full council to see it on the resolution that will be signed. If you guys pass it, that is stricken through already.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Billy Ottenstein, Grayla Mitchell,
Yes.
Darrell Gooseby,
Yes, I'd like to say this was well worded too. I vote yes twice.
any more comments? Harold Smith,
Yes.
Pam Hunt,
Yes.
J.D. Bullard,
Yes.
Wendy Moore,
Yes.
Karen Chalaclear,
Yes.
Christy Hunt,
Yes.
Larry Chavers,
Yes.
Nancy Locklear, yes. Siobhan Daw,
Yes.
Rudy Locklear,
Yes.
Kathy Hunt,
Yes.
Joy McNeil,
Yes.
Bobby Emanuel,
Yes.
Chakawana Oxenine,
Yes.
Josephine Dawes,
Yes.
Larry Souls, Alice Baker,
Yes.
Homer Fields.
Yes.
Motion carries. Your holiday.
Miss Chuckawanna Oxendine. The calendar review, we will do February 1st. Mr. Gerald Gooseby.
Yes, looking at the calendar on February the 20th, A&R and Federal Recognition has a meeting. I was unaware of that. That's the night that Josh can come to do his report. I don't know if there's any flexibility in either of those meetings. If there is, I would like to schedule that report for that night. If not, uh, we'll have to do the 22nd, but I will not be able to be in attendance. I have rotator cuff surgery on the 21st. So if the 20th could be modified, I'd appreciate it. That would be Miss Wendy, who's Federal Recognition. Carol.
We've already got folks that are scheduled for that. I know especially federal recognition. Unless people want to come back another day or A&R, but
And I know also we were trying to get away from 3 meetings in one night because of it lasting so long.
And that Josh's report usually lasts over an hour. So if Wendy doesn't have a problem with chairing the 22nd, one person don't stop the show. I shouldn't have to stop the show. If Wendy would chair it on the 22nd, I'll ask Josh, can he do it on the 22nd if that's fine with you?
it's fine with me.
Okay, well, let's put that down for the 22nd then, brother. Don't mind.
Economic Development on the 22nd at 6:30. So Josh's report normally lasts about an hour and a half. Just a heads up. Is there anything else for the month of February? All right, moving along to March. Miss Nancy Locklear.
For March the 5th, I want housing 6:30 and finance at 7:30.
Okay, on March the 5th, we have housing at 6:30 and finance at 7:30. Miss Wendy.
On March 4th, I'd like A&R at 7:30.
Mr. Jody.
March the 12th.
Just be mindful that that week is the res conference.
March the 4th at 7:30. What time you got? 6:30. 6:30.
All right, next we have Mr. Rudy.
Mr. Dewey, also, let me advise it. The health committee, can you please bring your ideas for the opioid community outreach? I know we had discussed that in the last meeting, but we didn't finalize it.
All right. Mr. Rudy.
Just a second. Thank you.
Mr. Joe Gooseby.
Economic development on the 5th, whatever times that,
We ain't had but 2 meetings, not 3.
I thought it was, y'all just said the 4th, y'all got something on the 5th also. What is it?
So,
Fifth is housing finance.
so housing will be at 6:30, finance will be at 7:30 on the 5th.
25th.
So we had economic development on the 25th at 6:30.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rudy Locklear.
The 18th available.
That's within that window of the council meeting.
Just a second.
We're waiting. Just a reminder that the Unity Conference is the 7th through the 9th at Charlotte at the Hilton University Hotel.
The tribal council meeting is what, the 21st? We do constitution ordinance. Is there anything that would prohibit us from doing that monthly meeting in the month of February on the 29th? Is that doable?
It's up to you guys.
You please schedule a constitution ordinance for 6:30 on the 29th of February.
So we're going to go back to February the 29th at 6:30 for Constitution and Ordinance. Is there anybody else for that night? All right, moving right along, we're going to go back to March and recap those dates. We have February, March the 4th at 7:30 is A&R. 6:30 is
I'm sorry, Mr. Dewey, I won't have anything to vote on, but I can still have a meeting after our business meeting, correct? Can I do a education meeting on the 25th of March? 7:30, yes, sir.
we're going to go back to March the 4th at 6:30 will be health. Is that correct, Mr. Bullard? At 7:30 will be A&R. On the 6th, on the 5th will be housing at 6:30, finance at 7:30. Okay, then on the March the 25th, at 6:30 will be economic development and 7:30 will be education. Is there anything else for the month of March? And then going back to February the 29th, Mr. Rudy is having a Constitution and Ordinance meeting. Is there anything else for I can get a motion for adjourn? Miss Wendy?
Yes, Council, I'd like to make an announcement with regard to the Rape Crisis Center. We are having a golf tournament March 1st, and considering that 56.1% of the victims are Indigenous victims, we solicit your participation either through participating in the tournament or funding, sponsoring a hole or something like that. We will greatly appreciate your help here because the Rape Crisis Center in the last month has had in excess of 10 to 12 victims. We're very busy and we solicit your help. Thank you.
Ms. Tammy.
What is the cost to sponsor holes and stuff like that?
Just want to remind you, and you've probably seen it on our website, and we've been pushing it out. The Department of State is going to be holding a afternoon at the Boys and Girls Club on February 25th. It's on a Sunday afternoon, and that's the date they chose. The secretary for that department will also be in attendance and speaking with our youth, and we pushed this out in all our Indian education from Robinson, Scotland, Hoke, and Cumberland County, and we're hoping to have a great turnout. But the opportunity is to share with them how you can join the Department of State right out of high school, right out of college, and opportunities, employment opportunities to go to work for them. And they want Lumbee youth to be interested in jobs around STEM. So they're going to have some hands-on things for the kids to do to interest them so middle schoolers can come. I don't think there's any children too young to be here. So they need to come. We have a young lady who is from Prospect. Her name is Cassandra Seawright. She's from the Prospect community and she works for the Department of State. And part of her interest and why they're coming here is because of her. She wanted them to come and she wants Lumbee youth, wants to see more Lumbee in the Department of State working. And as you all know, when you hear Josh Malcolm speak to us on once a quarter about Lumbee Tribe Enterprises and the different entities, that's who we do the most work for. Our 8As work for the Department of State. So it'd be nice to have more of our youth working for them. And it's a great opportunity. So share it in your churches. I can make sure that flyers are given to you as well. But we need to have that gym full of youth on Sunday, that Sunday afternoon from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. Yes, Mr. Rudy.
Did you forward this over to the Indian Heritage Center over at the university?
I think they did, but I can follow up with Ms. Tosh Oxendine in reference to that. Yes, I can.
Make sure they.
And I know that they will be on UNCP's campus on Monday as well. But they wanted to make a special trip here Sunday to meet with Lumbee youth. And I think it's a great opportunity for the kids to see what careers and opportunities there is out there for them. And opportunity to go to college for free. Free. That's always a good thing. I just wanted to remind you of that. Thank you.
Mr. Harold. Okay, all right. And before we close, I encourage everyone to look at their packet, business packet. It's emailed out the Thursday or the Friday before the business meeting. See any changes or anything, you can get it with Ms. Lakeisha or that committee chair. We appreciate that. Before we close out, if I can get Mr. Bobby to lead us in prayer.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.